Hello, I'm the Angry Spork, taking issue with Batman vs. Predator 2. A drug lord has put a $5 million bounty on bats, and a second see-through slasher has arrived in Gotham, having nearly made our hero a trophy if not for the aid of the Huntress. However, regardless of the odds, the Dark Knight is insistent on handling things alone, creating a bigger rift between the two capes. And just to make things more interesting, another spacecraft has landed. And it probably isn't E.T. This issue's cover features the caped crusader in a warehouse, surrounded by predators, two cloaked and one visible that is either being electrocuted or just upgraded to its Super Saiyan 2 form. The first page sees Batman emerge from the sewers on an empty street, narrating that there's danger all around, but isn't sure when it'll strike.
Which is probably how criminals feel about me. Maybe there's a chance at introspection about how I approach my war on crime. Nah.
He spots the barrel of a sniper rifle just in time to duck out of the way behind a car, but narrowly avoids impalement by a spike shooting from the tire rim. He breaks the spike free and throws it at the weapon, which looks to have been set up to fire automatically. A man pops out of the sewer hole, possibly the same one Bats exited from, and throws a grenade. It just gets backhanded into a nearby and hopefully abandoned building before it detonates. He kicks the guy's head off, literally, then is faced with a car barreling towards him. He dives away while catching the steering wheel with the grapnel line and causes it to crash and explode. Just when he feels it's all too easy, the ground opens to a spike pit that he just manages to avoid getting perforated by. All this turns out to be a training exercise Batman set up, which is kind of funny, since at first I was thinking that an actual assassin had set all this up, all these random attacks one after another, so elaborately thinking ahead, to the point that I thought Batman should really be impressed with this. Bruce has beaten his best time by 3 seconds, but even 10 wouldn't be good enough to fight the alien that's hunting him. Too bad you don't know anyone that can react to danger in under 1 second, huh, Bruce? I mean, to just pounce on a problem in a flash? That'd be a wonder, wouldn't it? It'd be super, even. Boy, anyone like that whom you'd be in league with sure would be helpful right now, wouldn't they? As the Predator melts the flesh off Twitch's head down to the bone, nice of him to keep the glasses, Bruce is explaining to Alfred how Twitch's body was one of 2 recently found, both victims of the creature, and both hired to kill Batman. Maybe they were killed by chance, or as a display of skill, maybe to prevent them from beating the Pred to their shared target. Or maybe it's all futile to apply human logic to something that isn't human. The armor he used for the previous creature is too restrictive, especially with 5 of Tararo's assassins left, so Bruce is going to focus on gear emphasizing stealth, silence, and speed.
Competing naked against the new night creature in town would hardly be wise. And the last time I tried competing naked, I got an earful from the JLA Human Resources Department.
As the Predator leaves his very brightly lit ship, either because he doesn't care about conserving energy or he's doing a Steven Spielberg homage, we go to the sewers. Huntress is being followed by someone not quite as stealthy as the headhunter that knocked her out last issue. She makes her way into an alley where another killer lies in wait. Whether Tararo put a target on Helena as well, or it's too dark to differentiate between her and the Bat, this may work to her advantage. Sure enough, the James Bond-looking Redmount takes a few steps too far and gets strangled by Ronnie the Rat. In the struggle, the dapper-looking gentleman manages to fire a shot right in Ronnie's head, but it doesn't save him. Last episode, I made a joke about 2 guys waiting to take turns to take out one target, and they both ended up dead. Here, 2 guys were after the same target without knowing it, and it didn't spare them. I guess the lesson here is, goons just can't win. Huntress confirms that they're dead, and then hears Batman from somewhere above. Despite an insinuation on his part, she didn't kill them and doesn't see any big loss in letting them off each other by occupational hazard.
Loss of life is always great, always tragic, always awesome.
I know that the context of the word isn't meant to be positive here. It's really more meant to denote full of awe, something grander than what's before you and so forth. But
awesome is so often used to denote impressive or cool things, it's really difficult to read that and not take it the wrong way.
I love the Bat Power Glove. It's so bat.
Okay, that outdated reference aside, Bertinelli feels Batsy's words only emphasize her point, since those two, like the others in the dossier, made their careers taking life. Now that they're dead, more people will live. But the Dark Knight, wearing a high-tech gauntlet of some kind and striking a pose for effect, says that that's all the more reason they need to face justice. He takes off, leaving a cryptic warning that suggests their already tense relationship could be more volatile, and she dismissively reasserts her dibs on Toraro. At the hospital where Gordon is recovering and muttering about warning Batman, a pair of agents want to talk to the commish about a high-security issue, but Lieutenant Stalker puts a hold on that. He can tell they're feds, even if they're not the usual type, and tells them to get lost. It comes down to a display of their weapons, which Stalker escalates to actually aiming at the stranger. Yeah, how he doesn't get in trouble for that, I don't know. Even if their orders are from above the president, as they claim, any message they have will be relayed by the lieutenant after Jim wakes up. They concede to discuss matters further in the hospital cafe, and as they make their way to the elevator, the agent in glasses notes how that revolver he was willing to use would have disturbed the commissioner, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. But you thought of that way too late, Fed.
Oh yeah? Well, we're gonna get you audited by the IRS.
That's not something we can actually do, since...
Shh! You one-upped us like chumps, let me have this!
In the Batcave, Bruce succeeds in testing the scrambler device on his arm on Alfred's TV, and hopes it's as effective on the creature's cloaking capabilities. Note Alfred's face when he's told what happened to Ronnie and Redmount. Good lord, sir. And then there were 3. I guess it shouldn't be too surprising that Batman's butler would find something like 2 assassins killing each other just kind of droll after a while. At least now, Bats will be able to see the Pred's approach while he looks for the last 3 assassins, and starts by printing a list of places frequented by Toraro. We return to Lieutenant Stalker, who's told that the thing that attacked Police HQ was not from around here, duh, and all the agents care about is stopping it. Suffice to say, they have a specialized team to deal with the menace and want Gordon's cooperation. The lieutenant interprets that as wanting the police to stand down while this secret squad does its thing. He'll give Gordon the message, but makes it known that with 4 officers slain by the creature, their request may be easier said than done. Meanwhile, as the radio mentions people leaving the city due to the heat wave, 2 more predators emerge from the Gotham River, crackling with electricity.
Apparently, these spacefaring warrior hunters have warp technology and laser cannons, but somehow did not get the word about why you don't mix water and electronics.
Song Sung enters a building known to be occupied by very wealthy people, trailed by Huntress, who's being watched by Batman, himself observed by a camouflaged predator. It's a conga line of stalking! Helena heads inside, and Jackpot finds Toraro. She takes aim with her crossbow, but is attacked by Song, who knew she was being followed. And for some reason, she has a bat-shaped mask, which is giving me flashbacks to a terrible story, and I don't like that one bit. The 2 fight, only for Song to lose, or at least get knocked down to the point Toraro pulls a gun to finish Huntress off himself. It's bataranged out of his hand, and Bats approaches.
Toraro, I've been looking for you.
I've left 5 messages with your secretary to schedule either a beating or horrifying interrogation, and she'd never tell me when to expect you back at the office. Either your time management is screwed up, or you've been avoiding me for some reason.
The predator suddenly bursts through a wall, to everyone's shock.
It's not even bothering with its camouflage.
Feels like building this scrambler was kind of a waste of time. Am I a joke to you, universe?
After skewering Toraro with its staff, the Pred then chucks it at Huntress, who narrowly avoids its path all the way outside, through the wall. That's some throwing arm. Batman gets its attention and draws it outside, away from the others. The assassin tries to go after her mark, only to be knocked out by Huntress. Fade out. End of song.
There it is, Homer. The cleverest thing you'll ever say, and nobody heard it. Go!
She then calls the police to collect Toraro's corpse and hired killer, while Gordon seems to have rested up just enough to discuss the matter of the special team. The feds claim to have encountered a creature like the one they're facing, and that makes it tempting to cooperate, though Stalker suggests one condition: that he's assigned to the team.
That's right, the team has to include the legendary Gotham cop Lieutenant Stalker, whose first name we still haven't heard yet and has only appeared in this story. He has to be on the strike force because...
Bats leads his pursuer to an abandoned causeway, then loses sight of him. Figuring he finally cloaked, he activates his scrambler. It works to shut down the camo, but the Pred body he finds on the ground is in different clothes. Oh, yeah, and missing a head. Another newcomer decloaks as he approaches, but is not part of a bat hunt.
No, not making any moves. Abiding by the hands-off code.
That never seemed particularly cemented to me. It felt more like something Bruce was certain of based on very little information. Yeah, he was there when the first one was sacrificed for its failure, and Bat's got a spiffy new sword out of the deal. But for all he knew, the alien currently hunting him is from a completely different tribe. Or their culture decided that specifically hunting Batman would become a rite of passage. Or that the stay out of Gotham rule had an expiration date.
And if he's not going to ask any of his superpowered friends to help stop a bloodthirsty hunter in his own city, he probably won't ask Superman to find their home planet and take notes on their culture. No, he's gonna build his own one-man Bat space program and go there himself once he patents Bat warp drive.
That's when he hits warp speed, and instead of the odd stretching of the ship that ends in a little twinkle like you see on Star Trek, it leaves a bat-shaped hole in space for a while. You gotta stay on brand.
Pred number 3 collects his dead associate and goes invisible, leaving Batman to conclude they may have been sent after the alien that's stalking him. Then we get an image of the hunter in question, lightning striking in the distance as he holds up his newest trophy.
Which means, even against his own kind, the first one is one hell of a predator.
And all of a sudden, I feel I have to recruit Arnold Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers, and Keegan-Michael Key. Just to keep things lively, lighten the mood.
It all concludes next week. Will there be more mild coloring mistakes like the one with Song Sung here, where the open portion of her costume is colored in like the rest of it? Or will we just get more people being decapitated? Who can say? Unless you've actually read the story already. I'm the Angry Spork, and man have I got issues.